What's up, Outer Banks, and welcome to an all-new episode of OBXE TV, where we give you the inside scoop on what's happening in the local and regional entertainment world. I'm Sue Artz. Since 1977, Brew Thru has been an Outer Banks icon, a tradition for millions of annual visitors, and a true homegrown success story. Continuing to break new ground, the 2014 Brew Thru Summer Concert Series will feature 3 huge music events live at Roanoke Island Festival Park in Mania. It all starts with Grammy winner Bruce Hornsby and the Noisemakers, with the Pat McGee Band and Chess Boxer to kick off the concert series on Thursday, June 26th. Next up, the alternative 90s hitmakers live take the stage on Thursday, July 10th, with special guest Cracker and longtime local favorites Formula opening the show. Finally, it's the Gin Blossoms with the Spin Doctors and Scars on 45 coming up on Thursday, July 17th. The doors at Roanoke Island Festival Park will open at 5:30 p.m. for each of these concerts, and tickets are on sale now. You can get full details on each of these events at OBXEntertainment.com. Right now, we're going to take you on location to the Brew Thru headquarters in Wanchese for a chat with our special guest this week, the owner of Brew Thru and the mastermind behind the Brew Thru Summer Concert Series, Philip Foreman. Check it out. We're outside Brew Thru's headquarters in Wanchese. Let's go inside and see what's going on. Hey Philip, thanks so much for being on our show and taking a few minutes to talk with us. I know it's a very busy week for you. Brew Thru is unique to the Outer Banks, so for anyone who isn't familiar, can you tell our viewers what Brew Thru is?
Let's see. Well, Brew Thru is a drive-through convenience store, obviously. You do not have to get out of your car. And what's different, I mean, there's drive-thrus other places, but usually you're on the outside of the building. And at a Brew Thru, you're actually driving through the store, which most people haven't had a chance to do that yet, in their life. So they come down and they're like, oh my gosh, this is just so cool, and I've got to do this. Growing up here, I was born here, raised here. The Brew Thru was just, we're used to it as
Right.
locals. I mean, everybody should have them, but the fact is they don't. And so when they come to the Outer Banks, they're here to have a good time. They realize, man, we can drive through this. And a lot of people just drive through and thinking it's coffee or whatever it may be. And we do sell coffee drinks, and we sell so much more than this brew, but hence the name Brew Thru. People were even more intrigued to see what it's all about. And once they get in, they find out it's more than just a drive-through convenience store. It's a whole experience,
It is.
And our customers, that come year after year, they just are loyal fans, and it's exciting to be a part of the business. I can't claim responsibility for creating it, but I sure do like running it, and it's a fun business, and I can be other places wearing my Brew Thru t-shirt, and I always have people come up, oh, you're from the Outer Banks, I love going to the Brew Thrus, and I just, sometimes if they ask me a lot of questions, they find out I own it, but usually I just let that go.
So how did you get to be such a big part of Brew Thru?
Well, let's see, I think it was 1992, I was in 9th grade in high school when I met my wife.
Wow.
I'm in 9th grade, and her father came here, Dana Lawrence and Rebecca Lawrence came here in 77 and started the Brew Thru. They built the first one in 1977 with a partner. I don't even know the partner's name because the partner was only in the business for a year, and he decided it was too cold and the winters were too long here on the Outer Banks, and he and his wife moved to Florida. But anyway, I met my wife in 9th grade. We dated all through high school, all through college together, and I was running a business that my family owned, Big Al Soda Fountain and Grill, over in Mania, working as a night manager, and I enjoyed the job, but it was hard work, and the restaurant business is very different. It takes a very special person to thrive at that, and I enjoyed it, but my father-in-law saw, man, this guy is just working all these hours, blah, blah, blah. I wish he would come work for me. And so fortunately for me and for him, because he's retired now, living in Naples, Florida, the good life, he convinced me to work for him one summer. And so during college, I guess it was my sophomore year of a 4-year college. I worked there for the summer, and I really liked it. It was a lot of fun. You meet so many fun people, you know. Yeah. And the nice thing about the Brew Thru is people come through, they're already in a great mood. I mean, this is awesome, you know. They're excited because it's something they've never even been to, or they had been to it. They thoroughly enjoyed their experience, so they're coming back. And
Right.
you know, you go to a restaurant, you know, work in a restaurant, parents have their kids they doing all, they just want their food, and you know, they already come in somewhat, sometimes miserable. But
Right.
Brew Thru, you're happy, you know. And so I quickly realized, man, this is a lot of fun, and I worked there for a summer, and then the next year I came back and I became an assistant manager at the Jockey's Ridge store. It was very good, and you know, of course, if you know anything about Brew Thru, it's our T-shirt business,
Right.
and we fortunately sell a lot of T-shirts. I don't know if there's anyone that sells more than we do, but we certainly sell a lot. I think we're getting ready to hit 5 million T-shirts this summer. So my father-in-law really did a great job at getting our T-shirt business rolling, and when I was in the store, it was always fun, you know, upselling T-shirts, and that's what we want our customers to come in for, all their beverage needs and snacks and anything they need for the beach, including ice and sundries and frisbees and this and that. But our goal was that they leave with their annual souvenir Brew Thru T-shirt or more, and
Right.
our college staff that we hire every year, they're kind of trained to make sure they suggest of sell, hey, do you want your world famous Brew Thru T-shirt? And most of the time people want it, you know.
Yeah.
And we've been very fortunate in the office here. You probably see all the T-shirts on the
Yeah.
walls.
So is there one for every single year that Brew Thru's been open?
Right. Well, actually, the first Brew Thru T-shirt didn't come until the second year, and there was only one design, and that design was used for 2 years. And then after that, my father-in-law and the T-shirt printer said we should date these and change them every year so people start collecting them.
Yeah.
And it worked, you know. And now we're selling over 100,000 T-shirts every year, and they have a date on it. It's always hidden somewhere in the design. Like here's a '92 edition, and you know they're all in order.
Yeah.
And you got to kind of look to find the date. Like here's 93
Yeah,
down
see,
here.
nice, nice.
But anyway, we try to hide the date in the design, and it gives our customers something else to kind of look for. And it's also that memory of, hey, we were there in '93, or we were there. But anyway, it's a great company. I love working here. You asked how many, okay, so we do have one annual design that has a date on it. But then people started wanting simpler designs, not all our characters and this and that. So we started coming out with just special edition designs and add-on T-shirts. So this, for instance, is this year's special edition. If you buy an annual shirt, you can get this for half price.
Nice.
So it just helped us sell more T-shirts, and some people don't want the big patch on their back, or some people
Right.
buy both. You know, so if you buy one, you can get this one. You know, and sometimes your dad doesn't want the cartoon, so you get the cartoon and you give him this one.
Right.
We always try to say, hey, you sure there's not someone at home watching the dog that you need to bring a gift home for?
Yeah.
So anyway, we right now have the annual edition, and then 5 to 6 special edition T-shirts, other designs. And back 4 years ago, we opened a Brew Thru shop, which has all kinds of designs in there, and it's for Brew Thru fans that are hardcore, and they want to just go in there, and we sell everything from keychains to dog collars, you know, you name it, it has Brew Thru on it, and it's all there. But anyway, back to your original question. So after working as an assistant manager, I was doing well, and my father-in-law said, look, you know, my general manager, she's pregnant. She's not going to be able to do it anymore. She wants to work part-time now. I'd really like you to consider that. And this was right after I had graduated college. And I said, sure. I gave it a shot. I studied business administration and political science. And so I jumped in there and did it. And after about 2 years of being the general manager, my father-in-law started working less and less. He was never around and running errands, you know, having lunch, doing whatever. And,
Right.
And he said, man, my youngest daughter's getting ready to graduate high school and go to college, and we'd really like to consider retirement. And we started working on that. So I guess I think it was 2002, in January 1 of 2003, we bought Brew Thru, and we've had it ever since. And since then, we've built the Brew Thru shop. We built another store in Colville Hills. Let's see, we've got a franchise down in Carolina Beach, North Carolina, and I bought that restaurant that I once worked at with a partner, and we bought that 2 years ago because my mother, who started it, decided she was ready to retire. And now we're in the concert business.
Yeah, so what made you want to move into being a concert promoter?
Well, at Brew Thru, people are always coming through and they're excited to be there to get what they need, and we sell them the t-shirt and the ice and all that. But then the big question that was always asked was, hey, what's there to do here? You know,
right.
what can you give us to do? And our customers are fun people, you know, they want to do fun things. And the answer was always, hey, you should go to Kelly's, try Portical, you know, and a lot of times they appreciate that, but a lot of times they said, hey, we did that, or we've been there twice this week, is there anything else you could recommend, or we've done this or that, and we're like, well, I don't know. And that was just it for a few years. We just didn't know what else to recommend for the people that wanted this nightlife, you know. Of course, the Brewing Station, there's a lot of great bars, but you can only want to go to a bar 3 or 4 times, and then you want something else.
Right.
And so I live here over in Manio and Wanchese, and I eat downtown all the time, and I have a colleague that owns Poor Richards over in Manio, Todd Clisole, and he was on the board of the Friends of Elizabeth too. And I said, you know, you guys should really consider doing concerts over at the Festival Park. He's like, Philip, we've heard that time and time again, but what you don't understand is we're a nonprofit, and so the risk on a concert, our board's just not ready to take on. But you know, it's available for lease. You should do it. And I said, I don't know about that. And anyway, about 2 weeks later, I was cornered by Kim Sawyer, who's the director over at Festival Park, and she said, Phil, I heard you want to do a concert. And I said, oh, wait a second, you talked to Todd? And she said, yeah. And so anyway, she said, look, I'd love to talk to you about the idea of doing a concert. You know, we really need, you know, especially with, you know, all the states and all the governments are having to tighten up a little bit,
right.
You know, to try to get us, you know, out of all this debt we're in. And so they're cutting budgets across the state, and including Festival Park.
Right.
And so we met, and Kim convinced me they were going to put their weight behind it, and we worked out a deal for leasing the park for one concert last year. It was the Blues Travelers. And you know, well, we didn't really know who we were going to get. We just said we're going to do a concert. And for me, you know, Brew Thru, you know, we're a small business,
right?
But for the Outer Banks, I like to think of it as a pretty decent business here on the Outer Banks, you know. And my goal was our customers leave here, and the Brew Thru was a big part of the experience they had on the Outer Banks. And there's been time and time again where I'm out places, like I said, and people are like, oh, I love the Outer Banks, and I love the Brew Thru. I don't know if you go, you know, of course, you know, I have been to the Brew Thru. But that's the goal. I want people to think of, you know, the Wright brothers, the national parks, you know, all the cool things you can do on the Outer Banks, but especially Brew Thru needs to be in the back of their mind as something fun that they did while they were here. So back to the concert, so we were like, well, what are we going to do, you know? And I'm like, well, I don't want to do anything unless it's somewhat big. Because I don't like, you know, it's go big or go home, you know? And, and obviously we can't have Beyonce here. The place only seats 3,500 people, and tickets would have to sell for $300, and I need to sell out in order to get, you know, these guys are getting $1 million a show. So we had to look, and we were, you know, we were trying to find a band that was, you know, rememberable, but also one that we could afford, and we felt like people would still come and have a great time. And so, you know, growing up in the 90s, I was thinking of all my favorite bands, and Blues Travelers was one of my favorite, and so that's who we booked. And you know, it was you know, I remember the 3 nights before the event, kind of like right now, because we're having this concert in 5 days, a little nauseous, tossing and turning a little bit, but anyway, the locals really stepped it up. They turned out. They, you know, it was overwhelming at how much support we got from not only the papers, but also our local businesses, the rental companies, and they really pushed it. And we had sold 400 tickets going into the week of check-in, and then we ended up selling another nearly 2,000 tickets the week of. And so fingers are crossed. that ticket sales pick up again, because we're about par for last year on ticket sales. But you know, it is an outdoor venue. You know, I realize that, you know, some people are scared of the weather. Me, you know, Bruce Hornsby, it's the Outer Banks. I'll go in the rain.
Right.
I don't care. You know, but I do realize some people. And one thing, you know, all the concerts when we were looking at Blues Travelers last year and the 3 bands we have for this year, we were always, I have a 10 and 7-year-old daughter, and I want an event that I can bring them to.
Right.
And so that's the other reason why we picked the bands that we picked, because we want it family friendly, but also a good time. And you know, and what we tried to do was, I think it's 8 and under. Kids are free, because we want, you know, what a great experience to bring your kids to their first concert at a small venue as beautiful as Roanoke Island Festival Park.
Yeah.
And anyway, so now we're in the concert business as well.
That's awesome. I know we went to Blues Traveler, and we also have a 7-year-old son, and as it turned out, we wound up being front row in front of the stage, and we couldn't really move until after it was done. But yeah, John Popper actually gave him a harmonica.
Oh,
so
sweet.
It was awesome, and we had a great time. So
That's awesome. I didn't get a harmonica.
Oh.
But I did get to go backstage. And
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're definitely looking forward to going to your other concerts. So what are your hopes and plans for future Brew Thru concerts?
Well, you know, I'll tell you what, I'm always nervous about these, because you know, you just never know. So we said, okay, let's take a baby step, and we did 1 last year, and so this year we're going to do 3 and just see what happens with 3. Obviously the goal is to have, I mean, I would really love to see a concert every Thursday night from the last Thursday in June through the first Thursday in August. That is our true goal, is that we're bringing a national act to the Outer Banks every Thursday night during the core part of our season. That's basically when grade schools are out.
Right.
But again, you know, it's all about turnout, and you know, I would hate to book 6 concerts and, you know, only be selling 1,000 tickets per concert. But I think the more and more that our locals get used to it, as well as our visitors, you know, my goal is that hopefully when they're even booking their vacation, they're like, hey, which bands are going to be playing at Festival Park? Let's go that week, you know. And when we're looking at different genres to pick, you know, we'd like to be able to pick genres that are a little bit different. You know, Bruce Hornsby is not the same as Live that's playing on the 10th, you know, and Live and Gin Blossoms are similar, but Live's a little bit more rock, and Gin Blossoms is a little bit more, I don't want to say soft rock, but you know, pop rock.
Right.
So we were really hoping to get a country act this year, and we thought we had one, but that fell through last minute. At that time, it was time for me to start worrying about Brew Thru, and I said, look, we're just going to stick with 3 and see how it goes. But the goal would be to mix up the genres, so you know, you're not counting on the same locals to come every time.
Right.
Every week, you can say, oh, well, we'll do a country one, and then we'll do a rock pop, and then we'll do a soft rock or classic, you know, and we just want to mix it up so that we're not tapping that same local person to come to every single concert. Now, there are plenty. We have sold about, I think so far, around 50 season passes. There's 50 people on this beach that are planning on coming to every single concert, which is cool. And you know, as the week goes on, I think that a lot of locals are probably going to take advantage of that, you know, because it is cool, and they do realize that in order for us to be able to do this, we need to get people in. I mean, a lot of people don't realize it takes, the way we built it and priced our tickets is it takes 2,100 people to break even. And so when you've only sold under 500 tickets and it's less than a week away, you can understand that there's a lot to be lost, and you can do the math yourself. It's not easy to sleep at night, but I had faith last year in everybody. They turned up, and I think it's going to be great. I'm really excited.
Yeah,
you know?
I think it'll be good. And you know, a lot of people do buy their tickets last minute. So is there like a whole committee that you have that helps you with this, or are you doing everything all by yourself?
Well, I have a general manager, Michelle Pruitt. She's a rock star, and I couldn't do any of this without her. She and I kind of do most of it. Now, we have a great contact over at Festival Park, Fisher, and the park's very helpful, and he's the events coordinator over there, and he used to actually work under for bands and kind of a roadie, you know, and so he knows everything. And love you, Fisher. So it's great, you know. We kind of work. The three of us kind of work together. Now we do have, you know, a security team. Ben Whitehurst, he's got his people that kind of do the security and gate entry. But something that's different this year is we brought on 2 nonprofits in addition to the Friends of Elizabeth II. And the Friends, they're a nonprofit. They sell the beer and wine for us. We have beer and wine tents where you know, they handle all that for us, and they get 50% of the money made from all the beer and wine sales, which is substantial, you know. Right. And so we're helping the Friends, which supports Festival Park. But this year we wanted some volunteers to work the gate and also just kind of be ambassadors and let people know where things are, because it does get crowded. And so we have the Dare County Arts Council that's come on with us with some volunteers, and then we also have the Children and Youth Partnership that's working with us. And I think they'll, you know, between the two, I think it's like 10 volunteers per concert. That'll be working the tickets, and there'll be a Children and Youth Partnership. They basically are going to have a 50-50 raffle that'll be at the Brew Thru tent, which 50% will go to the winner and 50% will go to the Children's Youth Partnership. And then the Dare County Arts Council, they have a music program for kids, and the kids that they'll be selecting 10 kids every concert that will actually come to the I think it's called, hold on, it's like the warm up. There's a meet and greet session, so they'll meet the bands and they'll get to see, you know, it's the sound check. So the sound check for the bands, and pretty much every band has signed on so far. Bruce Hornsby just confirmed yesterday that he'd be happy to take a photo with them, and so they'll get to go backstage and kind of see what's going on. And these are kids that, this is going to be a big deal, you know. These are kids that, you know, are, you know, learning different instruments, and basically the program provides free music lessons to kids that could use the help. And you never know, maybe some of these kids one day will be coming back to Festival Park and they'll remember when they met Gin Blossoms or Bruce Hornsby and had their first experience, you know, seeing what a band looks like before the show. So that is that's our help. And now we do, obviously we have the rental companies, we have our major sponsors for this event, and just like last year is Max Radio. So you got 99.1, 92.3, as well as 104. And then there are main radio sponsors, so every ad you hear on the radio, they're blasting. They're a huge part of making this happen. I mean, without the radio stations, I don't think we could get the word out. And then Outer Banks This Week and One Boat is also a major sponsor of ours. Then we have people like you and the rental companies that are also doing everything you can to help us just fill the venue, because what's good for the event is good for all of us. You know, we all stand to gain, and it's overwhelming. You know, I've had several people helping me go out and deliver these posters, you know, that we're putting all over the beach, and you know, I would say 98% of businesses welcome them, you know, which is cool. You know, you always get nervous going in and saying, hey, would you mind putting this up? And they're also excited, and a lot of them, you know, you catch the owner and they're there, man, thanks for doing this, we're so excited, you know, you're bringing something else to the Outer Banks to give our visitors something to do. And so that's why we're doing it. We want something to do, and we want them to have something to do, and everybody deserves a break, including the kids. So remember, I can't stress that enough, don't come because you have kids, you know, bring them, you know, they're free. Bring your kids.
Awesome. So let's just make sure we have it straight. So this Thursday is Bruce Hornsby.
Yes.
And then the next Thursday is going to be...
No, I'll tell you. So this Thursday, the 26th, is Bruce Hornsby, and then it's with special guest the Pat McGee Band, as well as Chess Boxer, which I'm excited to hear. Those two guys that are like electric fiddlers, are like rock bluegrass, and they play in the Noisemaker band. And I'm honestly really excited about hearing that. They actually come on, they take the stage at I think around 5:50. They play I think a 50-minute set, and then Pat McGee Band comes on at around 7:30 for an hour or so, and then at 8:30 well, only an hour. At 8:30, Bruce Hornsby takes the stage, and he'll play until he's done. So the more people, the more excited the band is, you know, and so we're excited about that. Then we skip a week because Festival Park always has their big 4th of July extravaganza over there with the fireworks and this and that, and they'll be setting up for that, which is Friday night on the 4th, on the 3rd, so we skipped a week, which gives me a little time to regroup and, you know, get ready for the next week, which is July the 10th, in which we have playing live at Festival Park. That's live at Festival Park. And the opener for live is Cracker. And then we also have a local band who you probably have heard, Formula, who is going to open the concert. Same thing, you know, the two openers play like a 45 to 50 minute set, and the headliner usually comes on around 8:30, 8:45. Live again. Why did I pick them? Because they were one of my favorite bands in the 90s.
Definitely.
And you know, it's funny because a lot of people are like, they don't remember Live, but the minute you go to iTunes, click on their top 4 songs, you'll know every one of them, and you'll say, oh, I gotta go. So Live is definitely going to be a fun one. And then later on, the 17th of July is our last concert, which I'm really excited about. Gin Blossoms with Spin Doctors, and then Scars on 45. You've probably heard this band. They're a UK group that'll be here, and they're played a lot on 99.1. And we're real excited about the final concert. That's kind of it. And so based on what happens this year, we'll determine, you know, not guaranteeing 6, but if we have an average attendance of about 2,600 per concert, we'll certainly try to maybe add another, you know, band or 2 to next year's lineup.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
So
if somebody wants to purchase tickets, I heard you say like season pass, can they purchase one ticket that gets them into all the concerts? Or?
Right. Well, basically, you know, and it doesn't make sense if you're not going to the Bruce Hornsby. It doesn't make sense to, you know, because basically what we've done is we've created 3 types of tickets. A season pass. Well, I'll start from the bottom. The whole park is lawn seating, so there's no seats. There's no reserving space. The whole thing is gorgeous Bermuda grass. If you haven't been there, it's truly amazing. You know, if you sat in a lawn at some place that holds 35,000 people, it is not the same. I mean, this is gorgeous. You guys were there last year, and so you would agree. But basically, we have a general admission price ticket that is $35. That gets you in at 5:30. And you got to buy that in advance. The day of show, all these ticket prices go up $10, you know, and our reasoning is because we need to be focused on the event, not selling tickets. So we're really trying to encourage people to buy their tickets up front. We'll still sell you a ticket if there's availability, but we do sell out at $3,500. There's 300,000 people that come to the Outer Banks every year. So who knows how many tickets we'll sell. I mean, it could be 1,000. We could sell 2,000 like by Wednesday, and it's sold out, you know. So we do encourage people to buy their tickets early, but that's for the general admission is $35. We created a priority ticket this year, which basically gives you access 30 minutes earlier, because some people, you know, they're like, hey, we want to get down low, we want to be able to set up a little earlier, and a lot of those people were locals and friends of mine are like, hey, we want to get down, we want to get in, how do we do this? And I said, well, maybe we'll create 300 priority access tickets. So basically, I think we sold about 100 of those tickets. There's still 200 priority access tickets available. And basically, they're $10 more, so they're $45 in advance, $55 at the gate. I doubt there'll be any available at the day of, though. They will sell out, and that gets you access a little earlier, so you can take your blankets, bring your chairs down. There will be rental chairs, lawn chairs. They can't be high back. They've got to kind of be the low back, sit your butt close to the ground type chairs. And that's the priority access ticket. And then we had people like yourselves that have said, hey, we want to go to every concert you have. Would you do a season pass? So what we did is we created a season pass ticket, which basically gives you a ticket to every show. You pay for the general admission price, but it's free upgrade to priority. So you're paying $105 per ticket, or to get to go to all 3 tickets, but they're priority access, so you save $30 and you can get in. And if if you're that big of a fan, you probably want to get in early and get a good seat. Those tickets, we will probably only sell another 50 of those, because the goal is we don't want, you know, if you paid for a better ticket, we don't want there to be a line for you to get in. You need to be able to get in, get a good seat, and so you better get them soon.
Nice.
Because they will be gone.
And just so people know, like, what is the cutoff date if they do want to, like, buy ahead of time the priority access?
You can, when the priority when we hit, 300, we won't sell anymore.
Okay.
So I can't tell you when the cutoff date is.
It could be tomorrow.
Well, it could be. You know, I really don't know. I think we have about close to 200 still available. Right. I would say you're probably safe by Tuesday, once the tourists start hearing about it, and we guerrilla market this thing, you know. Good. So people will hear about it starting today while they're sitting on the beach this afternoon, and certainly tomorrow. There'll be airplane banners, and the businesses that really support us, all the rental companies, the check-ins. So all I can say is, if you're local and you live here, you better go out and get your ticket. You know, the forecast looks good. You know, there's always a 20% chance of a thunderstorm on the Outer Banks. That's what it is all next week. I think it's going to be great. There's, and if there is a little storm, it's usually in and out, and so don't wait if you want the special ticket, because they will probably sell out. And you know how we are on the Outer Banks. We want to be up front.
Yeah,
definitely. Get your priority if you're planning on going. Try to get it, before Tuesday afternoon, I would say.
Cool. Sounds great. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us today. I know you're crazy busy, and we definitely look forward to attending all your concerts this year and helping to spread the word. And I'm sure everything will go great. And thanks again for doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
It's great to meet you, and I'll see you Thursday night.
That's right.
All right.
I will.
Thanks. Cheers.